Alright guys, the iPhone 17 series is finally here and I will go through the iPhone 17 Pro and Pro Max. Then the iPhone Air, which in my opinion, the worst iPhone Apple has made in years. And finally, the iPhone 17, which I think is surprisingly the best iPhone of the lineup. Let's start with the Pro models, because these are the ones Apple pushes the hardest, and honestly, they are fine. Yes, you still get the new aluminum body. Yes, it's strong, it's light, it's premium, but it's literally the same as last year. So now, Apple jumps to aluminum from titanium. Just think about this. In the iPhone 15 series, Apple made a huge deal about moving from steel to titanium. They said it was obviously more durable, lighter, stronger, all the marketing bullshit. And now, just 2 years later, they are moving to aluminum. And why? Because it's lighter and has better thermal conductivity. Sure, that is correct. But really, after hyping titanium like it's the future, you are suddenly saying aluminum is the way to go. Then they announced this new thermal system for heat, so the phone doesn't get as hot. And finally, they came out and addressed it. They didn't exactly admit the old ones overrated, but of course, the new thermal system is supposed to make the phone run cooler. Next, the design. And this year's design, honestly, it just looked bad. It feels like it's only there to make the phone look different from the last year's model, but it doesn't have any real purpose. Yes, design is subjective, but this time design is just straight up pointless. Now, the chip. New year, new chip. The A19 Pro with 6 neural accelerators. And sure, it's more powerful, but do we need this much power? It's of no use for most people. And Apple spends so much time explaining how much faster it is compared to the last year. The irony, they keep saying this is for AI, but they are still falling behind in AI, way behind. Apple is incapable of using AI in the right way and it's actually affecting their business. And let's not forget, it's been a year now and the AI still isn't properly rolled out. Features are still missing, the ones that did not come and don't even work properly. Plus, the whole selling point of iPhone 16 was AI. And here we are, in iPhone 17, still watching. Now they say this new chip will help with AI. Damn, that is just bad. Now the cameras. First, the front one. This year, all iPhones have an 18MP camera with a square sensor with OIS. And honestly, this is great. The photos are excellent and stabilization is good. And thanks to that square sensor, you don't need to hold your iPhone horizontally anymore. In vertical position, the camera automatically adjusts the ratio, so no matter how big the group is, everyone fits in the frame. The quality is generally excellent. So in this department, Apple did really well. And thank you for finally giving us dual recording, front and back at the same time. I know. Before you say, Android has had this for years. But hey, at least now it's here. Now the back. All the cameras are 48 megapixel now. And here's my real question. Why does this even matter? People don't really use the 48 megapixel mode. Most don't even know how to shoot in 48MP. The same goes for 4K. People brag about it, but barely. Anyone uses it daily because the file sizes are massive. And then you throw in all these terms: ProRes RAW, Genlock support, Apple Lock 2 video recording. Sounds amazing, but these are things only professional photographers or videographers care about. The normal daily users, they just don't need it. And that's the problem. Apple keeps going higher and higher. 48MP, 4K, maybe next year 8K, more FPS. But none of it really matters in everyday life. This year, they also give us new lens, which is 4x, 8x. Last year it was 1, 2 and 5x. Now, I'm not completely sure, but I have a strong feeling the higher zooms are just digital crops, marketed as optical. And if that's true, that's a ballsy move. Apple selling digital zooms as if you gave us all the real lenses. At least their durability and battery are solid. Ceramic shield 2 on the front and the 3 times better scratch resistance. Plus ceramic shield on the back. Battery life is great too. 37 hours on the Pro Max and 31 hours on the Pro. And here is an interesting detail. If you get a US or Japan eSIM only model, you actually get 2 hours of extra juice because there is more internal space, which is actually a cool bonus. And all models now start with 256GB, which is also nice, at least something Apple did right this year. And finally, the price. iPhone 17 Pro starts with 1,35,000 while the Pro Max starts at 1,50,000. That's a 5,000 rupees jump compared to last year models. And this year, they also come with 3 new colors. And that's it for iPhone 17 Pro lineup. Now, let's move to what I think is the most useless iPhone in the lineup, the iPhone Air. Honestly, this one feels like it only exists because Apple wanted to squeeze in more model between the regular one and the Pro one. Yeah, it's thinner, it's lighter, and Apple markets it like that's some huge innovation. But let's be honest, who was out there begging Apple, please make my iPhone lighter by 10 grams? Nobody. And to make it worse, there is not even a 17 branding here. Why not just call it iPhone 17 here? Maybe because even Apple knows this phone is a flop. First the mini failed for 2 years, then the plus for another 2 years. Both made no real impact. And now they have come with this, a so-called thinnest iPhone ever. But for me, this is straight up the worst iPhone Apple has ever made. I just hate it. It comes with the A19 Pro chip, same as the Pro models. It got a 120Hz ProMotion display, ceramic shield 2 on the front and the ceramic shield on the back, a titanium frame, all-day battery life, and just one main camera. All of that sounds fine until you see the price, 1,20,000. Like really Apple? Why? Just why? Who asked for it? First you push this thinnest iPhone ever narrative. But thin phones always have been a bad idea. They are not durable, they heat up way more than normal, and you can't even fit a decent battery inside. And this is exactly the problem. They gave it the A19 Pro chip, the same chip that runs hot enough to require a proper thermal system in the Pro models. Apple literally shifted to aluminum frames in the Pros just to manage heat better because aluminum dissipates heat more effectively than titanium. But here in this thin iPhone, they have put a titanium frame and the A19 Pro chip. That combination makes zero sense. You can't fit a thermal chamber in such a thin body. So how are you controlling the heat? Something is not adding up. And then Apple has the audacity to say this iPhone delivers all-day battery life. How? With titanium, no cooling chamber, the A19 Pro chip heating like crazy? God knows how much heat this iPhone will generate. And here's the kicker. Right after saying it's all-day battery life, Apple introduces a special power bank for this phone which, when attached, gives you up to 40 hours in total. Like what? So let me get this straight. I'm buying a thin iPhone for 1,20,000 and then you tell me to slap on a power bank which cost another 12,000. So now I'm spending 1,32,000. At that point, I can just get the iPhone 17 Pro for 1,35,000. And after adding the power bank, guess what? The phone isn't even thin anymore. So what's the point? Apple, you are straight up bullshitting people here. And I'm not even joking right now. I'm so pissed at you. And the camera, oh my god, the camera. You are charging 1,20,000 for a phone with just one single camera. Just the Fusion camera. No telephoto, no ultra wide, no micro lens. Nothing. At this price, this is insane. Either drop the price way below the iPhone 17 or don't bother at all. Because right now, you are asking people to pay premium price for a single camera iPhone. And honestly, I don't know what you are trying to achieve with this. So who is this phone even for? Who is buying this? Think about it. If someone has 1,20,000 to spend, they can easily go for Pro model. If not, they can just buy a regular iPhone 17, which is generally a great phone, and save a huge chunk of money. Or they can even buy a last year iPhone 16 Pro or Pro Max for around 1 lakh, which is a much better phone in terms of battery, camera, and overall performance. So why would anyone in their right mind go for the iPhone Air? This is why I call it the most useless iPhone Apple has ever made. So yeah, this iPhone Air is nothing but Apple selling you thinnest and calling it innovation. If you buy this phone, honestly, Apple didn't fool you, you fooled yourself. Now, let's talk about the regular iPhone 17. And this is where things actually get interesting because I think this is the perfect iPhone Apple has made in a long time. This is really good. Honestly, the perfect iPhone I've ever seen. Just because of one thing. They finally added ProMotion 120Hz. After so many years, Android has had it forever, but now it's finally here on the regular iPhone. About time. It also clocks peak brightness at 3000 nits, the same as the Pro models. You get Ceramic Shield 2 on the front. The display size is now bigger, from 6.1 to 6.3 inches, and of course, the new A19 chip. But the most exciting thing for me, finally ProMotion 120Hz on a regular iPhone. This alone changes the whole experience. And on the top of that, the battery got a solid upgrade too. 30 hours. Just 1 hour less than the iPhone 17 Pro and way better than the last year iPhone 16. That's a huge win. Then the cameras. Apple actually gave the same front camera as the Pro models. The new 18MP square sensor with OIS. This is the best thing they have done in years. Finally, the same quality selfies and stabilization without needing the Pro. On the back, the ultra wide is now 48MP, up from 12MP last year. But honestly, how many people are going to use the 48MP mode? Very few. And then what? Next year we'll make it 64MP or 100MP. I don't know and I don't care. It's just numbers at this point. And at the end, there aren't too many upgrades overall. But these little changes, ProMotion, battery, cameras, brightness, they actually made this iPhone perfect. It's one of the best iPhones out there in every aspect. Sure, you can still buy iPhone 16 for 15 to 20,000 less. And that's not a bad deal. But if you are upgrading from iPhone 14 or older, this is worth it. And even if you wait for a year or two, you will get an amazing deal on this phone. 100% recommended. The iPhone 17 256GB comes at 83,000, a 3,000 jump from last year, and it's available in 5 colors. And the blue one is my personal favorite. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, just subscribe and like. Seriously, do it now. What are you even waiting for?